Going live. We're going to go live on Facebook. All right. It looks like we are live everywhere. So, hey, everyone. Sifu Larry, get out here. Welcome to the Shaolin Q&A, where we're going to cover Kung Fu, martial arts, fitness, health and wellness, and any other thing that you're curious about Shaolin or what we do for a living. And I'm your host, CJJ Replies. Hey. That's Sifu Larry. This is Sifu Fu. Sifu Larry is going to be manning the Facebook and YouTube chat. So if you're on Facebook and YouTube, make sure to use the chat section. Want to go?
I'll go right now.
Let's go.
Do you okay? Stop.
Sorry, we're just being silly today. So we hope you guys have had a great week so far. Sorry we weren't able to do our Tuesday night one. I had some stuff I had to take care of. For those of you that don't know, I'm a single mom, so sometimes stuff happens and it just falls on me. So I had to take care of my daughter, and she is doing well. And so we're here to cover any questions that we got for the Tuesday one. We're going to cover any questions that came in for this Friday one. So if you did send in a question earlier in the week, we will make sure to get that covered so you don't have to worry about anything. And for those of you that don't know, we have a seminar coming up. We have a Tai Chi seminar coming up, and that is going to be April 13th, 14th, and 15th. And you can find out all the details, how to register, all the stuff. If you're wondering about the hotel, where's the nearest airport, what's going to be covered, all that stuff can be found at enershaolin.com/seminar.
And you don't want to miss it, especially if you want to be certified to teach, because we're going to put you in the teaching room.
Yes.
So it's
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Sifu is going to do something a little bit different with our VIP members, which are the people that are coming to start working towards their prerequisites for their certification process. And he's going to do something really fun with you guys that's going to help you take what he's going to teach you in the private sessions and apply it into real life scenarios. So I'm excited about that.
The best way to learn how to teach is to teach.
Right.
And then have someone help you, and you'll never forget it.
Yes.
If you're helping to teach and see corrections in your teaching, you will never, ever forget it.
It's going to be really cool. So if you're interested in Tai Chi, you don't have to, if you're just a beginner, you're just getting started, you've been doing it for a while, I promise you there's something that you will learn. Period in the story. One of Sifu's students actually teaches with him privately, who I won't name any names, was like, oh, I don't know if I should go. I teach with him privately. Am I going to learn something? I can tell you, and any people that have been to any of our seminars, no matter how many seminars you come to, you're always going to learn something new. And I'll just say, like Sifu, Larry, and myself, we've been to lots of seminars for business, for health and wellness, different things like that. And if you go to any seminar and you come away with even just one thing new or one thing to improve what you're doing, you have more than paid for whatever the expenses are that you did. It's well worth the money. But I promise you, if you come to one of ours, you're going to get way more than 1 or 2 gold nuggets. Like, you're going to go back home just with your mind blown and with all kinds of resources. And I actually had someone that called us yesterday, one of our members, Larry, and he was going,
not
Rivera, Larry Moyer. And he was wondering, he's like, well, how am I going to remember all this stuff? We record all of the seminars. So you never have to go like, oh man, what is going to happen when I get back home? When you have notes, so you have a syllabus of everything that's going on. You get an Shaolin notepad to take additional notes to add to that if you want. And then we record everything. Now, obviously, the recording won't be available all to you right away. It'll be because it's so much content that we have to edit and prep and all that good stuff. But as the months after it, we'll release them, all the lessons from each one of those and all the extra content and stuff like that. So you never have to go, man, how the heck am I going to remember all this? Yeah.
I was going to say, the way we teach is we're not teaching you to mimic or follow.
Yes.
We teach you to understand. And once you understand it and you learn it, then you can grow from it. So we're not trying to teach you to mimic us. Okay. It's not about trying to follow by just mimicking the movements. We teach you how to understand the movements. That way you can break it down and then you can build it up. So that's why when you go to the seminars, you're not going to walk away like, I don't remember what he said. We use a lot of rhyming principles.
Yes.
We use a lot. Plus, we write notes. So everything that I find is very important that I want you to remember.
It's already in a syllabus.
It's going to be in a syllabus for you. It's going to be in notes for you. So you're going to have it there. Plus, with this one, like I said, if you're going to be a teacher, we're going to give you the best experience that you can get to be a teacher is to experience it. So we're going to focus on the experience of being a teacher and how to teach. And we're going to break it down and we're going to have you teach it.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
It's really cool. I have it all planned out for you guys. And like I said, and once you, let's say you're going to be teaching someone, if you made a mistake in that, and I come around and say, okay, that's good, but we want to refine it this way, and I teach a principle why it's that way, it will never get out of your mind. Even if you have amnesia, you'll be like, I don't know who I am, but I know why this works. Like, it's because it's never going to leave your mind.
Yeah,
that's something that experience will teach you from that. Just you teaching and then seeing where you're wrong, and it's corrected or improved upon, and you're like, oh, I like how he did that analogy and example. You will never forget it, ever.
Yep. And I just want to specify, even if you don't want to be a teacher, this seminar is still for you. There's a separate portion that are for those that want to teach. So there's 2 different prices for those that are just general admission, coming to learn and train. And then everyone gets to be a part of that part of the seminar, but there's some extra special training aside from that for those that are looking to become certified eventually in our Tai Chi program. So Dominic's laughing. He says, even if you have amnesia, yeah, even if you have amnesia between the notes, the videos, all that stuff like that, you don't have to worry. And also realize that the stuff that we're going to be teaching you, you're going to have access to this stuff inside the site too. So it's not like if you've been following along for any amount of time with what we do at Inner Shaolin, and even just, you know, dabbling with some of the No Dek Na and some of the Tai Chi, you're already going to be way ahead of the curve. But even if you haven't ever done any of that stuff, you're going to be okay. We're going to take care of you.
You know, learning how to do the energy in this is like speaking a language. Even when people have amnesia, they still remember to speak the language. You know, they like forget who they are, but they know how to speak. Learning the energy and feeling the energy is the same thing. You're never going to forget it.
Yeah.
It's like, just because you don't remember who you are, it doesn't mean you can't ride a bicycle still. These things are embedded into your muscle memory, and that's what we're going to teach you, to get it not just in your brain, but in your body. But we want to get in your brain, don't get me wrong. We want you to understand so you can break it down and build it up and improve upon it. That's the whole idea.
Absolutely. Yep. And I just want to apologize real quick for those of you on YouTube, because I just saw we are direct connected into our internet, and I don't know why, but for some reason the quality is kind of messed. So I do apologize about that. We are looking at, even though like our internet is totally up to par, if I am in the other room direct connected in there, or even on Wi-Fi, it does better than when we're a little bit further away, even though we are direct connected. It's very bizarre. I think it has something to do with the platform that we're using. So Seafood Larry,
Ethernet cable. It might be a poor Ethernet cable.
Yeah. So we are going to be testing out like some new wires and possibly a new webinar service as well, just to get it better, because it's just really driving us insane that the quality that we're seeing is not what you guys are getting on your end. So bear with us. We're working out all the kinks and stuff like that.
Apologies.
And we'll do our best to make it better for you the next time you guys are joining us. For those of you that are on the Zoom platform with us, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A section. But if you want general chatting and stuff like that, you know, with other panelists, just and attendees, make sure you do all panelists and attendees in the chat area. But I will try to scan periodically what's going on in the chat. But if I miss you for some reason, that might be why. So just use the Q&A for your actual questions so I don't miss you.
I want to say a quick shot. Hey, Moshe, I miss you, buddy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Oh, yeah. Let's give a shout out to everyone. We got Caleb, Catherine, Dave, Karthik, Dominic, Kathleen, Moshe, Pam, Rick, Steven, Thomas, and Troy. Oh, we got a full house. Welcome, everyone. And welcome, everyone on Facebook and YouTube. I can't see who all's on, but we're glad to have you a part of it. So once again, if you have any questions about Kung Fu, martial arts, what we do here at Inner Shaolin, how to use the site, any questions, we'll cover it. Even if you want to know, like, hey, because we've had people ask, hey, do you cut your hair? What products do you use? We'll answer them too. We love you guys. So if you need any help with anything, we're here to help you to our best of our abilities. And Moshe said, Shabbat Shalom, right back at you. All right. So while you guys are waiting to come up with some questions, oh, what? There we got one right there. So Dominic says, how can I go about scheduling a private lesson? Website, email, call? Telepathy, no, the telepathy won't work. I sent an email, but haven't heard back. We are a little bit behind on customer service, so that is probably why, Dominic. I do apologize. It's been kind of hectic around here. But yes, I will get to you today. I'm assuming you're talking about scheduling a private lesson in person. If so, that would be done via email. So if you want, give me a call today at 1-844-9-KUNG-FU. And I will take care of you and get you scheduled away. And then for those of you that want to do a private lesson online, This is only for our members, though I should specify that. You can go to entershaolin.com/schedule. Make sure you're logged in. Sifufu schedule is now up there and available, so you can go ahead and schedule those. It's a really affordable rate. Like, it's really ridiculously affordable. It's like literally $1 a minute. Yeah, for now. It might change later on. But like, so you can do a 15-minute session, a 30-minute, 45-minute, or an hour. We do record them, so you don't have to go like, oh man, what the heck was Sifu teaching me? I don't even remember. You can have your forms critiqued, techniques critiqued. If you have a partner and you're working on some partner drills, you can have them join you for the session. If you just have questions, whatever it is that you want to work on with your martial arts and your Kung Fu, you can ask and work on in that session. It's your private lesson, so it's about you and what you want to accomplish.
And if you have a partner, it would be great. If you don't, it's just as good.
Yep.
I can help you with that. But if you have a partner and you have a problem, like I can't lock, you can actually do it on the video. I can watch, I can see your energy. I don't need to be there to feel it. I can actually see it.
Yeah, you can see it.
And correct it. You know, as long as you can listen well and apply that technique, I can actually tell you where to correct it, change your mindset, teach you how to get that, you know, a lot more, like example, people think the lock, they think to take down, so they go for the motion. And then again, how to go to the point. So if I watch it, I can see the pull, I can see like lifting your shoulder, whatever. I can tell exactly where your energy is going. I can fix points in your body and get you to do it little by little.
Hear that? That's what's going to happen. All right. So Ishan Singh says, hey, my wrists are really weak. What would be some good exercises to strengthen them? Great question.
You're so weak, you're not even 7 days. That's my joke for today. But there are a lot of wrist exercises, okay? One of the things I really like doing for the wrist, it's really, really good for your wrist, is using a pole, a broomstick, anything that has length to it and weight to it, so you can train your wrist. So I'm going to do a quick video here with the pole here. So if you got like a broomstick, a pole, whatever it is, grip it to the end. Now, if it's too heavy for your wrist, because some people weak wrist, you can bring it towards the center more. Now, obviously, you don't want to be too far because it's going to hit your body if it's too long. But you want to grab where it's comfortable. There are a lot of exercises that you can do to develop your wrist. A quick one here, okay, is basically the UE technique. It's basically you're going to make like a U shape. So if you can see here, it's very far, but you want to hold the stick straight out in front of you. You want to keep that straight all the way down when you make a U shape. And so you can see I'm going from here, rotating the wrist, coming up and keeping that horizontal. I don't want to see the stick go down like this or drop the stick like this. So you can see the stick is spinning. You want to keep it flat all the way from the motion from the bottom to the top, then back. And that would be 1. Going there and back is 1. The goal is to do like 25. More if you want to. It just depends. But I say always a minimum of 25. You can take breaks on 5s or 10s. But the key is to make sure that when you're on one side, the knuckles point up, palms out. When you cross it to the other side, knuckles point up, palms in the same direction. So you don't want to be like this over here. Your palms are going to face the same direction that you start. So if you're here, you're going to bring your hands down, turn the knuckles down around, and bring it up. And then you're going to do the same thing. The whole time, you're going to turn your wrists while you're making that U shape. So it's a U technique, okay? So we call it the UE. So you're doing that motion. The whole time you're putting that hold in your wrist, you're going to feel the pressure. It's going to build your wrist up really, really strong. So now if you're like, I can't grab a stick like this and it's too heavy, shorten the length of the stick. Okay. There's like broomsticks, there's different weights in sticks. So you can just grab different types of stick levels. So you can grab a smaller one like that. You can grab different ones.
Kids, so if you're looking for this online, it's a kid size one.
Now, if you have, let's say, a short stick and you don't have a long stick and it's like, it's too light, take a couple magazines, wrap it in the end. That'll give you a weight and that'll make it heavier for you. So there are ways to do it, but you want to use something where it strains your wrist good.
Oh, you can even do, you have a towel.
Yes,
that you
yes,
do in the
yeah.
site
I
for
just
training.
pick a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just picked a stick here.
You don't have a towel.
Yeah, so that's why. But and besides, that's for the not for the people to see. It's for the site. So I'm giving you this one. The pole is a very good one.
If you want some more inside the site and the core training,
You can get a broom stick,
pole, if you got a hardware store, you know, they make broom closets, not broom closets, the closet poles.
Right.
You can buy them. I mean, anything that just has something for you to grip and turn. You can get weights if you want to. The idea is to get it to come out so it stresses the wrist. So you don't want to weight even because your wrist isn't being torqued this way. Now there's multiple exercises, different types of exercises to develop the wrist and all around. This is just one technique to develop your wrist. That way it strengthens your hands too. So, and it works the shoulders as well, not as much as the wrist because it's going to take the most stress. But that's a good technique. And then, you know, we have plenty of training with the pole to develop wrists all around. It's like kind of building a chest. You're benching one way, but there's flies, there's pec decks, you know, there's inclines, there's declines, there's different ways to build the muscle all around. And that's the same way with the wrist training. There's different types of techniques for your wrist training that you can build. And this is just one. So hope that will help you try it out. If you're a member, write to us. If you're not, still write to us at support at Enter Shaolin. Let us know how it felt for your wrist. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. And if you're not a member and you want a whole lot more wrist training exercises, plus like everything that we filmed up to date, go to entershaolin.com/join and check it out. Corey Rutherford said, Sifu, what type of cardio workout is best for fighting?
Any cardio workout is really good for you. I mean, there's lots, like the one I like is tension exercises because, you know, it puts your body under tension. So we do a lot of tension exercises on the site. One way is like just holding your hand like this and creating pressure and pushing your hand together. Always trying to make this go this way, the other hand go that way. And you hold it for like 30 seconds, rest for 30 seconds. And you do that like 5 times, 10 times, depending on what you're good at. There's ones where you go up and down, where you push up like this and you push the other one down. So there's different types of exercises we show on the site that creates that. It's good because it develops strength as well as endurance. Another one that's really good is grappling. Grappling is really good cardio. It's good for the muscles. It's very, very fun too. If you're working with people and you're grappling hard, that's a very good cardio, but you don't have to pace yourself. You know, don't stress yourself out to where you're like, I'm dead. Now, if you're really out of shape, you're probably going to be dead no matter what, but you'll develop from that. You know, swimming is another one. Jogging is another one. I mean, all these are good, but the ones that best for the martial art is anything that combat related. So stressing the body out through pressure, that's really what you want because you know, when you're fighting, you're under pressure, and the idea is to
so sparring even would be good.
Sparring. But I think he was talking about work.
Yeah.
You know? But so things that are good for the heart, for the body. It's just like I said, when you don't have a partner, these are exercises without a partner. When you have a partner, like I said, grappling, sparring, these type of things, where you always put pressure on each other. That's really good for that. But if you're by yourself, resistance exercises, band training, holding out there, pressing and staying there for long periods of time. That's really good. It develops the muscle, it trains the muscle, it keeps the muscle to be stabilized, teaches you how to focus the energy too, and it works the cardio as well because it's a really good workout too. Just remember this: high pressure, okay, will work, and then also time, high numbers. You know, a lot of exercise that you can do with high numbers. You know, longer time, longer numbers. That works you out. You know, anything that does that will do.
Jump roping is also
a really good one. Very, very good thing. Yes.
You can do that too. And I know, Corey, like you have access to the core training and stuff. 2 of my favorite moves that also work your heart and your cardio and your balance and everything are are they called dragon slides? I think dragon slides and the mountain climbers. Yeah. Love them. Those are good. Sifu, from Stephen Marino. He says, could Sifu review his method of throwing a punch compared to other methods?
Okay. Now, when you're talking about like other styles, and I'm not going to answer for everyone because this is what the common thing is. Most people tell you to punch and put the shoulder behind the punch. Okay. The difference between what they do and what we do is they are follow through, shoulder behind the punch. We are the 3-proof. Shoulder doesn't go behind the punch. Shoulder goes behind the elbow. The elbow goes behind the wrist, and the wrist tries to point. That's the difference in our punches. We also learn how to do what we call burst type of techniques. So we're not following through what we throw. We want to accelerate just at the last moment. So if I'm moving like this, at the last second, I want to burst it out. And I do that through the wrist, that little torque in the wrist that makes a difference. Whereas a lot of styles, again, they hit and they just follow through with the body weight behind what they do. I'm not saying that's not effective because, you know, people can get knocked out by it. But the amount of energy it takes to achieve that versus learn how to turn your wrist, it's a lot lighter.
You know, moving your body, which is more mass, takes more energy. You move torquing your wrist and torquing your waist, it's a lot less energy. So I can get the same effect of power, let's say, at 1/4 of the energy. You know what I mean? The reason why is like the science behind it is you want with acceleration, and 2, you want to hit with focus. That's how you increase your power. A lot of people increase their force. You know, they throw more behind it, and they don't really increase the focus behind it as well. And that makes a big difference. You know, hitting with your palm like this versus hitting with your finger with the same speed, you're going to feel more at the finger. Here, you feel more push you, but not penetrate you. This will penetrate you and not push you. Like a bullet. You know, it pierces you, you drop. You know, you don't fly back unless it's a shotgun where it's spread out more, where it hits you in more area, which will knock you back even more. And that's really the big difference. We are focused in our strikes. We use a 3-proof shoulder, elbow, elbow, wrist. We don't put our shoulder behind our hands. We put it behind the elbow. A quick story, one of my students was training in the police academy. And this is happened many years ago, but he was training with me for quite some time. And they had a professional boxer behind the academy training how to punch. And they had pads, and he's telling him to throw his shoulders. My student was just hitting. He was just practicing lightly with the guy, just did the technique I taught him. And the guy was telling him, no, you got to put your shoulder behind. I was like, how are you going to stop someone who comes at you really, really hard? How are you going to, if it comes at you really hard, if you hit it, he's going to knock you backwards. And he's like, well, no offense, but this is not how I learned how to do it. He goes, listen, you're going to get killed. I'm telling you, you got to punch you with your shoulder, throw your shoulder behind it. He said, fine, I'll just do what you say. And his partner was like, dude, man, why don't you just listen to him? That guy's a professional boxer. He knows what he's doing. And my student just one time was like, hold the pad. And he was like, what? He said, just hold the pad. And he did the technique that I taught him. And the guy went to the floor. And he goes, oh my gosh, I never felt that. He goes, that's why I don't punch the other way. So, you know, and like I said, there's a difference. We pierce our strikes. We're not trying to hit and move the mass. We want to hit and pierce the mass and drop them where they stand. You know, I'm not trying to move them backwards. I want to drop them where they stand. That's the big difference.
Penetrating. Ouch. Doesn't feel good. So Vichio Saggio says, Sifu, how can I train Wing Chun techniques on a heavy bag? And is that possible?
Yes, of course it is. It's how you train. When you hit the bag, when I train with the bag, I hit on the focus. So I'm not hitting to try and hit and follow through. I hit and put the energy in the point in which I'm hitting. So if Sifu Larry here is the heavy bag, we'll just call that the heavy bag for now. You know, we're not just trying to go like this and go like boom, boom, boom. You know, we're not throwing. I want to connect my energy. For example, I concentrate in my body hit the turn. Like if he's the bag and I hit, I'm not hitting where I'm just throwing what I can. I'm going to hit to where I feel the connection, not just my body, but the impact, what I'm doing. It's different. And I concentrate on getting the energy behind that impact in which I hit. So if I'm doing, let's say, my forearms, you know, I'm not hitting where I'm just throwing where I hitting it, the bag spins, you know, sometimes you hit the back and spin. That means you're off. You want to hit where it's straight, it's dead on. You focus on how to hit. If I'm using my hands to say I'm doing parries, I'm doing do that. I don't think the parry to turn the energy. I think parry to pierce into the energy. So if it's like this is like the bag on the roundness, I think of hitting and I think of hitting and I turn my wrist. So I'm hitting here. This is the round bag. I hit into that. And again, I'm not following through in terms of throwing my body. I follow through in terms of turning my wrists. So when I hit, you can see in slow motion, I'm not doing this and get my body to do this. And you can see a break behind that. When I do it, there's no this. It's this. You just see it go to the wrist in the end. So I really concentrate on my wrist as my key to striking. And I feel my body behind that. I don't throw my body first and let my hand follow after. I drive my body to the wrist so it can support the wrist to drive the strike. I'm not getting the body to make the strike. I'm making my wrist get the strike. So in the end, it's not my body that drives the power. It's my body that drives the power to the wrist, which the wrist then injects in. So that's really what you want to focus on when you're hitting that bag. There's lots of ways to do it. I found a lot of good techniques in the heavy bag. If it's a very, very heavy bag, my goal is try to feel like I can hit into it and make the bag move and not feel that feedback into my body. That's some of the things I always did. Because if you feel the feedback, that means the energy came back to you. If you hit into it and it moves off of you, that means you sent the energy into it and very little comes back. The more you feel it move into your body, the less you inject into your opponent. So these are all the ways that you want to learn how to hit the bag. It's changing the focus of it. It's like anyone can go to the gym and just push, pump iron with weights, versus someone who concentrate, if he's building chest, how to bring the elbows in and push from the chest muscle, rather than just bounce it off the chest and push it back and forth. That's not as efficient or as effective. Right. Yes, he's strong and say he's a big guy, he can pick a lot of weight. That's because his mass is. But if you told him to do push-ups with a guy who concentrated techniques, that guy would probably concentrate proper technique and probably do more push-ups than the bigger guy who can lift more weights. Because pound for pound, that guy, smaller guy, is stronger. And we want you to be the strongest for your size, not trying to get you so big that it costs you, because it's going to take more energy to move bigger mass. Right. So we want you to be lean and tight and strong and fast. Being bigger is slower. The more mass you have, the more energy it takes. So you naturally go slower. But if you were to slim down, you can naturally move faster. So we want tight muscles, twitching muscles that can contract very, very fast, because speed makes a difference. Power makes a difference too. But remember, speed and focus equals power.
There you go. So Andrew Howe says, hey family, with so much information and skills to learn in martial arts, if I'm currently doing Qigong and training grappling in my martial arts, is it really beneficial to learn the Wing Chun forms, or is the time better spent on the NDN principles and skills or Tai Chi?
Okay. To answer that, don't think like, oh, this is Wing Chun, this is Tai Chi, this is Qigong. It's all the same. It's energy. It's about applying proper principles to proper technique. And that's what you really want to focus on, because in the end, Tai Chi, Wing Chun, karate, whatever you want to call it, boxing, a punch is a punch, a punch. It's how you do it that makes the difference. It's not what you do in the art. It's how you do it in the art. That's what makes the difference. So it's fine to train. I tell my students all the time, they ask me like, should I train in Tai Chi and animals? And this, I say, it depends on what you can do.
Right.
If you can handle it,
yeah,
then do it. If it's like you're confused, like, oh, I don't find this comfortable, I don't like doing this, then don't. Then just stick to what's natural to you and train in that. But again, those are all just words. Tai Chi, Qigong, Wing Chun, karate, MMA, they're just words. Muay Thai, you're training. Everybody's training how to throw the energy. The question is how, and that's the thing that you want to focus on, the proper training. Anyone can train. I sparred with guys when I was younger, and I was like 17, 18, and there's guys who've been training for like 25 years, and it's like I destroy them at a young age, because it doesn't matter how long you've been on the road, as a friend might say.
Right.
It's how far you've gone in it. It's not how long you've been on it. It's how far you go on it. So it's not just like, oh, I've been doing it for 15 years. Like, so what? You've been doing it wrong for 15 years. It's how well you do it. So that's why, a lot of these people who are like MMAs are destroying people who've been training in other martial arts, because they're not training properly. They're training traditionally. They're training for specific styles. And that's why MMA said, listen, if you're a boxer, if someone grapples you, you're going to die because you don't know how to grapple. And that's why people open the realm of training. Like, I got to know how to fight in close quarter. I got to know how to fight on the ground. I got to know how to strike. It's best to understand that. Yes, right. Of course. But that's what NDN is all about. It's about understanding principles of energy, where you're standing up on the ground, close quarter, long distance. It's understanding principles and applying that principle to your technique. That's why you don't have to change styles.
Right.
NDN is not a style. It's a system of principles that can be adapted to any style. So if you're a karate guy, and I did a demonstration for a karate seminar, and we talked about it, and I said the same thing. NDN is a system. So I had him do the karate block that he normally did, and I just hook punched him. I went right through him. I just went and drove right to his face. And I said, let's do it again. And it failed again. He went hard. I still went through. I was like, do you understand why I'm going through? He goes, because you're turning. Right? I was like, yes. And why is I'm able to turn through? Right? And he's like, because I didn't do it hard enough. And I was like, no, it's not because you're harder. It's because your control's not there. And I said, you're going from your shoulder. He's going from like this up into his shoulders to it. And I said, listen, when you do this, rotate your wrist into that motion rather than making your shoulder go up. Rotate from your wrist and keep the shoulder base strong. And we did it a few times. I said, see, and then when he started getting it, I said, now I want to punch on it. And he stopped it because he's learned to control the point, not hitting for motion. I always tell myself, never go for motion. Always go for point.
Yes.
Because your point is your influence on your opponent. Where you touch him, contact point means control point. So if your contact point is not able to control because you're using your shoulders, well, you control energy through your wrist. So if you're throwing your shoulders for the movement, you're not going to control it. You're only going to try and stop it. And the problem is the arc changes a little bit, the angle changes a little bit, then you're not where he's not where you think he is. And that's why it won't work.
There you go. Let's see here real quick. Just real quick. Also, Andrew, everything that we do, whether it's our Tai Chi, our Wing Chun, you're still learning the no deck knot principles, because anything that we teach, we filter through the no deck knot principles. So if you're learning the Wing Chun, you're still learning the no deck knot. If you're learning our Tai Chi, you're still learning the no deck knot. Just think of it as any artist, any contractor, any doctor, people have tools, even like a web designer, right? They have multiple tools in their toolbox that they use. Just look at it like that. Each of these is just a tool that's adding to it, whether it's going to be close quarter or long distance, on the ground grappling and stuff like that. So it's all beneficial to you. So just take the time to do what, like Sifu said, what resonates with you. If Tai Chi is intriguing to you, it's going to help everything that you're doing. No Dak Na is going to help everything you're doing.
No Dak Na is like music theory, like music's based on A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's it. Now you got jazz, you got blues, you got rock, you got this. All comes out of it. Or think of computers, it's ones and zeros, and you got so many different things on it, but it's based on ones and zeros. No Dak Na is the same thing. It's your basis of how to do energy, and any style you do requires energy. And so we teach you how to control that energy behind what you do. That's why it's not a style; it's a system. What's our motto? Don't let style
define you.
Let energy
define you,
because that's what it is. You're refining the energy in which you move, and learn how to perfect the control behind what you do. You're not just throwing it; you're manipulating it.
There you go. Ghost Wind says, hello, would you please explain the difference between the basic Wing Chun stance and the Qigong Neigong stance?
Well, depending on which Chun school you go to, some do the pigeon toed, they turn them in, and some do straight. So it depends on which lineage you go from, which teacher. Technically speaking, okay, stances isn't about, turning feet in, turn it out, turn it straight. That's going to depend on the width. If I'm tight, I turn my feet in. If I'm normal, shoulder width, I turn straight. If I go wide, my toes naturally turn. And that's not because of the style. That's the way your body's made. Okay? It's just the way your body's made to do. Some people teach Wing Chun with a pigeon toe because that's the style they teach. And they say, well, that's so you can learn to turn. And I'm not going to argue with them. That's their philosophy. We have ours. But, you wouldn't fight like this. You wouldn't fight with your toes standing in. So you would fight what's supposed to be natural when you walk, right? You walk with one foot slightly turned out and the other one straight when you move forward. That's the way it should be, because that's the natural way you do it. Now, if you're going to turn your body, then your foot would turn according to that turn. So that's the way you want to do it. Remember, we study energy. We study how the body works with energy. And that's how we take all our techniques and principles. And, some people are caught in traditions and they don't want to change. And that's good. If that's what works for them and that's what they're fine with, then that's on them. That's not us. We're not going to argue with people's tradition. We're just going to do the science behind the energy. Okay. But they're all the same. The most important thing, no matter how you stand, is finding that root.
Yes.
The root is the most important thing on your stance. Making sure that so anybody who doesn't understand, root is the ability to connect what's up top here to the ground. So you can see if I'm here like this, rooting doesn't mean going lower. I can be like this and I'm rooted. But if I'm like this, you can see I don't look rooted. I look like I'm going more towards my back, my butt. So being rooted does not mean going lower. That's sinking. Okay. The difference between sinking and rooting is sinking is lowering your height, trying to get lower to the ground. Rooting is a connection to the ground. Sinking enhances rooting if you have it, but sinking does not give you root. I can sink and not root. Okay. My root will get stronger if I sink. So sinking will enhance root if you have it, like I said. Your rooting can be high. I can stand very tall. I can be like this and still look very rooted. I can be like this and still look very rooted and look stronger root because I bend my knees. But like I said, that's the most important thing. No matter what your stance is, you're finding your root. You're finding that connection to the ground. And why is that important? Because it's a ground that gives us energy to go forward. Remember, we get forward energy one of two ways. We do it through the lean, or we do it through the root. Obviously, we don't want to lean through our shoulders or our body. We turn our hips and use the root for our hips. And that's how we get our body motions to turn, to get our power to come out. But if you're leaning like this, then you're throwing stuff up out. You always have to try to refine your center again. So we always maintain that center. We maintain the control. And that's how we we are focusing when we, no matter what stance you do, whether it be the pigeon-toed, standard, wide, qigong, nikong, it doesn't matter. That's just connection to the ground for your feet. And it's the body's way of doing it and connecting to the ground.
Thank you, Sifu. So Dominic says, when you do the trick where you press someone's palm with your finger, do you use the finger articulation as a fourth proof?
It's only there's no fourth proof. It's three proof.
Just three, Brad.
Okay, my wrist is controlling the finger.
Yeah.
Remember, just like if my arms, if I can connect to my arm, my wrist is turning that arm to control that point. It's my wrist that makes the control, but it doesn't have to connect to make control. Remember, I always tell my students, always use your wrist, but you don't always have to make contact with your wrist.
Right.
You will always use it, but you don't always have to be on point.
Yeah, and actually my lesson today with Sifu Larry was actually a lot about that and stuff. You know, we talk about like keeping your fingers up, you know, when you're doing your woo, but don't send the energy out to your fingers because then you overshoot. So a lot of people have that misconception. It always stays in the wrist.
Yeah, your fingers are a guide. It's more like counterbalance for you.
Right.
It's not necessarily like you can make a pack and hold your hand like this if you want to. Fingers in the beginning are just for people to see, but I can parry with my fist.
Yeah.
You know, I can parry someone with a fist like this and still do it. Or if you see like this, I can do like this. You can see my wrist and my arm. Same. If I do an open hand, it's the same. The wrist is the same. Fingers just as a guide for people to learn, but you don't need the fingers necessarily. It's just there as an aid tool for you. But you can make your hands close and still do the same technique with your hands. You just have to know how to control your wrist well. Most people don't understand the wrist control. They use their shoulders to substitute the wrist, or if they try to use it, they throw it to the fingers. I taught a lot of people, I always see it. They'll throw a tansao like this, and they'll go like
right. They're overshooting. Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
They're not shooting it into the wrist and using the fingers as a counterpoint, a counterbalance for the energy. So anything that escapes, it gets drawn back, and anything that the reason why our fingers are important in terms of why we want it out, like if we have it open, is because it's our ability to take energy that's on point, that draws in, to bring it up and then lay it on point. Remember, the three proof is shoulder, elbow, wrist, wrist turns to point. So this helps us to navigate the energy back to that point. So it's a tool, and as you get good, you don't need your fingers. The better you are, the less you need your fingers. It's just a training tool for beginners. As you get advanced, you can do it with just your hands, just like this. So you don't need it. It's just a guide. It's just a tool.
There you go. So no four proof, just three proof.
Three proof.
Andrew said, thank you for earlier. That helps. He's limited with time. So he wants to do it all, but he just doesn't have that much time. And that's what we all find. So you got to find a balance and work on that. You know, Qigong, Tai Chi, amazing. No deck knot principles, all these things help you. So just, you know, find what works for you and work on it and know that, you know, when you have more time, you can work on other stuff.
And understand, as you improve on one point in your energy, it's going to improve in all.
Yes.
Okay. When you get your arm to do like for example, three proof is our fundamental goal for the no deck knot system. It's how we drive our arm. Once you learn to do that, you'll learn how to hit better. You'll learn how to parry better. You'll learn how to lock better. You'll learn how to control energy better. It's the fundamental proof. You know, you use fundamentals to build everything. You know, all buildings start with a good foundation. There you can build whatever, but it starts with that. And that's what three proof is, your foundation to do everything. When you're doing energy control, learning how to use your core right rather than throw your shoulders. You know, you use your core. You use that core to help drive the arm. All these are underlying principles. The best thing I can tell you is like every principle is like one ring, okay? So every principle you have is just consider a ring, a circle. Each circle, every one of these rings are all connected to one circle. And that every time you train, you're training to build that one circle. So you're fortifying that one circle. So they're all interconnected. That way, think of the Olympic rings, you know, how they are connected to each other, but it has a center point, and each ring is connected to that center point. As you build one, you're making that center point stronger through that. And that's what you're doing. You develop that energy control to build. And when you build one, you build the next, because they all have the underlying principles, the same thing. So it's very good for you to do that.
Let's see here. So we covered that one. So Johnny Carter says, what are the different hand positions for snake style?
No, I'm kidding. There's this, okay? There's this. So if you can see, there's this way where you lay flat, so you can turn here. You can create the curve in your hand, so it's like a snake pulling back like this. So you can see my hand, so it creates a curl. And the idea of the curl behind that is when energy comes, I can curl it to absorb it. It creates a kinetic energy, potential energy to create kinetic energy, and I can strike out. Snake really doesn't have a lot of hand position. It's just mainly open hand, but it has a lot of torquing position behind the hand. That's what really matters. So like, for example, punch comes, I snake down. I can go underneath leg. I can go like this and rotate out. I go cut in. Like these are all the ways. Remember, there are 6 ways the wrist turns, right? From the palms, thumb, center, pinky on the backside, same thing. You know, so you rotate this way, you rotate this way, you rotate this way. Here, you can make a combination between being one side to the other, and this is your wrist control. And I did a video released on YouTube talking about how help the wrist control in the snake. It's all on that wrist. And again, without that base, without the other 2 proof, you know, the shoulder drive the elbow drive the wrist, then the wrist is useless. So you know, 3 proof goes along with everything that you do. So it's very, very important that you have that. The 3 proof is everything. You know, it's everything that you need.
Everything.
For your arms.
Yes, get the 3 proof and you're good to go. All right. So, hey, Sifu Larry, I will need you for this next one. Please and thank you. So one of our members, unfortunately, I just have RL for his initials, wanted to ask this question. He says, Sifu, you recently shared a story of how you challenged a football player to push you backwards towards a wall, and you ended up pushing him back. Can you show us how you control someone's energy to not only turn them, but also get them moving backwards?
What's that person's name?
And I figured that
wait.
he looks more like a linebacker than I do. So
I never shared that story. Did I? No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
I need a helmet.
Okay.
I need a safety helmet.
Again, we follow on the 3 proof. Okay. When we talk about controlling someone's energy, if they're touching us, okay, there are points in which we control: elbows, shoulders, neck. These are our control when their arms are extended. You don't want to control them by the wrist. It's too diversified. It can just move everywhere. So if I'm going like this, he can move his arm around. It just moves so easy everywhere that it's hard for me to follow and stick. So if he's trying to push me, I connect my arm to bridge here. I let him do that. I'll connect in here. Now, if I'm on the outside, there's ways on the outside too. Okay. I'm just going to pick a side because I have to pick. So I'm going to pick on the inside. If he's pushing me, push me. If I push against him, you see my shoulders go backwards, push me. I do 3. No, push me. No, push
you sure
me.
You want some of this big
yes, massive.
Daddy? All right. Ready?
So when he does this, no, push. And you can see right now, I can walk him now because now I'm controlling his energy. Now, if he starts moving left to right, then I have to adjust. If he's trying to turn me this way, turn me that way, based on how he's moving me, I can feel I can roll him this way, and I take his energy. So he has no point to push off of. The whole idea is when someone's pushing you, they need surface contact and pressure to overpower that pressure. So he's pushing me, and I go like this, and I'm pushing. Now he can push back because his arm can go into my palm, which is going up in my arm. His arm's on me. He's pulling my shoulder up. So if I don't know what I'm doing, will push back. The problem is he's stronger. So I can't win that way. So I must manipulate the energy. So basically, if he's going this way, okay, and he's pushing on my arm, you can see it go this way. Now I'm going to exaggerate this. This is much bigger than it should be, but it gives you a visual, okay? But he pushes, boom, and you can see what I'm doing. It shouldn't be that big. Like I said, it's just a visual for you. But if he's pushing me, you can see, even though it's so tiny, like you can see, do real slow, you can see the energy. So you can see how I'm moving the energy. Push. No, don't go backwards. Don't go backwards. Don't go backwards.
I'm not going to go backwards.
And you can see, I can just move him.
All right, I'm not
okay. So the idea is any pressure we feel, we can turn. A great example is like you just go out with your hands. If I'm going like this, it's strength, but push into me. If I turn him, push into me, turn. See, now I turn that point, and I don't give him the ability to push back into me. Every time he pushes me, I attack him from the side. He pushes me straight here, I'll turn it this way, depending on the way I feel the energy. He pushes, let's say he tries to push my hands down. So instinctively, I might try to push up. So that's now a force game. If he's pushing my hand down, I'm going to go underneath, and I'm going to arc it up. If he tries to turn me this way, where he brings my hand this way, like this, he can bring it in. So instead, I will turn it and bring it back to him. Now it's like, well, why are you so strong? He pushes. So I can yield and turn him. So I can create different counter torques. But the whole idea is you must find the arc and you must have your drive. You must have all of them. Okay. Or actually, sorry, both of them. You must have your drive between the torque and you must have the torque between the drive. You got to have that. If you don't have that, it won't work. Most people go straight line, straight line. That's why he can overpower me, because it's force on force. Okay. He does it again, and pushing me. You see, every time I feel force, I can turn him. So he doesn't have a point which he can lock into. Every time he adds, I just change it. I will turn the arc rather than try to withstand the arc. And that's how you can manipulate someone's energy. But there's a feel behind it. It's not
now
just,
you know.
It's not just saying, oh, it's that simple. You know, dancing, anyone can play piano. Just take your fingers and hit the keyboard. But not everyone plays piano well. That's the thing. Anyone can move energy, but are you doing it through control, or are you going to do it through force? If you're a bigger, strong guy, you can push someone backwards. It doesn't necessarily mean you're controlling. It just meant you overpowered him because he was weak and he didn't have skill. You always want to test it on someone much bigger than you, much stronger than you. That way, when they do it, you can just manipulate the energy from behind. And you should be able to control him, no problem. You know, I was looking at you guys while I'm talking to him, not even for concentrating him, because it doesn't matter to me. I'm not fighting the energy. I'm feeling the energy, and I control the energy.
Bam. Thank you, Sifu Larry, for being our football player. So we have from, let me answer this question because it's kind of a comment / question from Brian. He says, I have been doing jiu-jitsu for 20 years, and during my time, I've seen so much drama and fighting with multiple styles of martial arts. I've seen jealousy and gossip, and later claims of someone being a fraud. But I only got into Kung Fu through Wing Chun in 2014, and I've noticed that Kung Fu systems usually don't bicker much, but Wing Chun does.
Yeah, Wing Chun does.
Right. So he says, but Wing Chun does. So why do you think there's a lot of drama in Wing Chun? And then I'll ask the second question after that.
It's because there's a lot of people doing Wing Chun. Wing Chun is probably one of the most popular styles of Wing Chun out there, a system out there. And
I can tell you why. I know why. In Japanese martial arts, it was created like a federation or a corporation or an organization. And if you trace all the different karate schools, like in all the different countries, they're all going to trace back to one spot. When it came to Kung Fu, Chinese people are more secretive. They didn't really want to share their information.
Well, he's talking about Wing Chun specifically.
And I'm going to get to that
Yeah.
point. Okay. So in Wing Chun, there was no declared super duper masters. People kind of went their own way.
Yip Man died without leaving him.
Right. He was just like, hey, I don't care. And the reality is, if you look at the arguments within the internal Wing Chun systems in the different schools, it's about one thing and one thing only: money. It's nothing more than money. It's, hey, we have the original this. We're the original that. I was a closed door secret student of Super Ip Man, and I only know the true this and the true that. And it just became so ridiculous that you see constantly this back and forth bickering within the Wing Chun family. And it's constant. It's a never ending war.
It got so bad that actually the children of Ip Man actually said, okay, we had enough of people saying whose form is right, whose form is not. They had an old video of it. They had the video saying this is how it was. And honestly, remember this, it doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. It's just take what works and improve upon it. That's really what matters. Even Ip Man, when I read the book of him, he changed the Wing Chun system a little bit to make it work for him. There's supposed to be 116 moves on the job. He changed it to 108. He found 6 moves he did not, or 8 moves he did not like, and he took it out. He omitted it. So there's no such thing as truth. Remember I talked before about this in the webinar. No one left a manual saying what the true Wing Chun was. That's why it's up in the air. That's
because it's older than Ip Man even.
Yeah, and so there's no manual that says this is how Wing Chun was. This is how, and I've actually seen on the internet that Wing Chun didn't even exist. I actually heard someone say that. She didn't even exist.
Well, a lot of people believe that Wing Chun came from the Red Boat Opera, kind of during that period. So there's a lot of story and there's a lot of legend.
Right. Who cares?
Who cares? I don't care. Do you care?
I don't.
What matters is does your system work?
Right. Is the energy right?
And can you improve upon it? And when you do, can you pass it on to somebody who can help make it even better? That's really what it is.
So why is there a lot of internal strife in the Wing Chun community? Pride, ego,
money,
greed.
Yeah. So Wing Chun, unfortunately, like I said, there's so many different schools claiming the title of what true Wing Chun is, and that's why people argue. You know, that's just what it is.
Wow, I'm so good. I knocked him out without even touching him again. Dang.
Like it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, one person beats another person. Well, somebody from the same school who's much better could beat the other guy.
Right.
It comes down to the individual, and really, you know, Yip Man, he didn't create the system. You know, and I talked about this before. Yip Man was either very crazy or very, very smart, because you've got like hundreds of people from Yip Man lineage, or not hundreds, thousands of people, but among us all students, you have all these people named people are under Yip Man, but yet you have different forms.
Right.
So either he said to one guy, no, don't do it this way. No, I need to do this to another student. Or he actually was that good and said, listen, we're going to make your Wing Chun works what's best for you.
Right.
So if this is how you feel, then you can adjust as long as it stays within this principle and this parameter. That's really what it is.
So he's either a genius or crazy.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, he's like, I didn't say to do that. I said to do this. And then you have to do it. No, don't do what he did. No, you have to do this way. So either he's crazy or he was a genius. Because why would you have 10 disciples from Yip Man and yet you have 20 different Zone Tao forms? So, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of the, or all his students actually didn't really learn from him and they just claimed it and they made up their own Wing Chun.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of these things. But it doesn't really matter. Master Wong, as Stephen Larry said, like,
yeah,
you're not learning from my teacher. You're learning from me.
Right.
Who cares what the teacher is? He's not teaching. I am.
Right.
That's what matters. And if you like what I do, then you learn from me. If you don't, then go find another teacher.
Right. There you go. Yep. Make your martial arts your own. So his second question was, why do you think that so many Kung Fu folks are aware of the Wing Chun fighting and drama, and yet they assume other systems don't do this too, when in reality they do? I don't think anyone assumes that, or at least not anyone I met. I mean, there's definitely, I think anytime that I call it, I'm going to say it's a pissing match. People do that. They're like, oh, my teacher is better than yours. My style is better than yours. Anytime pride and ego gets into a situation like that, there's going to be internal fighting and strife. I mean, there's some people that maybe because they don't personally entertain that stuff and they don't deal with that inside their school, maybe they're not aware of it, but it definitely happens.
Listen, the purpose of Kung Fu is to better oneself. So
yes.
Others, that's what it really is. And people get lost into it and they start talking about the fighting art and which style is better. And, it comes down to the individual as well as the technique. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can get the best car driver in the world and put him in the junkiest car and have an average driver get a great car and he still win, but put a great car driver in a great car and you got a great, performance there. And that's the same. There's talent in the fighter, but also in the technique.
Right.
That can make you even better. So they both go hand in hand. And that's the idea. We want to practice so we can improve the technique so we can pass along. And that's the idea. And so for us, that's why it's about the energy. It's always about improving upon the technique, the energy behind the technique, not the technique in itself. A lot of people have technique and they make up strength to compensate for that technique. So you see a lot of people use a lot of force. That's why, like, when we do seminars and we do that, I always get the biggest guy, I get the strongest guy. I say, listen, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to tell him ahead of time. Don't let me do it. And I show that it works. It doesn't matter how big, how strong. And I say, let's do it again. And I'm going to count to 3. And you know what? I'm not just taking you by surprise. I'm doing it when you know it's coming on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fight me. Good. Go. It still works. Because it's not about the strength. It's about understanding the energy behind the strength. And it's not about the movement. It's about the point. And this is what we teach. Most people go for the movement. For example, like locking the wrist. They think, take them down. So the mindset is they got to drag their hand to the floor. But they're not getting the lock in it. The idea is to lock them and they'll want to go down. Don't bring them down into a lock. Lock them and they'll want to go down. And that's what we want to do. We want to learn how to control the point. If you can learn to control the point, then you get the motion behind it.
Yeah.
And the analogy I use, I did it in a webinar before, but for those who are watching now, think of it like this. Think of front tires on the road and you got a rear wheel drive. The rear wheel drives the car. As the tire turns, the car turns. So as long as there's contact from the front tires on the road, where the front wheel turns, the car goes in that direction. Now imagine you've got oil on the road, you got oil on your tires, and you're in motion. Turning the tires and there's no contact, then you can't get the motion behind it. And it's the same thing. When you get control of the point, the motion goes with it. But if you try to go for the motion, you don't get the point, you don't get the result either.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. And I would just say, Brian, just do your best to stay out of the drama. Don't worry about what other people are doing. There's always people trying to create flame wars and drama and all the other stuff. What are you doing? Are you a part of the problem? Are you part of the solution? And don't worry about the rest. So Tempa Westbrook says in Snake Engine and Snake Engine and Kung Fu as the same as spring energy. So he's saying is Snake Engine, or maybe he means energy. He must mean energy because I don't know what snake engine is. Yeah. So is snake energy in Kung Fu the same as spring energy?
Do you mean spring like snapping out? If that's what you mean, yes. Like I said, snake is just a word. the physics behind it is getting the energy to have a nice, relaxed position.
But
so
it is
it
a
has
springing
potential energy
motion.
spring, yes. Springing, accelerating, whatever you want to think of it, yes.
Right,
There
it's
should be
just
an increase of speed.
A style
Yes.
and how to
There should
do
be
that.
an increase of speed in that motion upon impact.
Yeah. So, okay, that was the answer. Johnny Carter sent over, my friend's sister wanted to see if my snake strike would go through a 3 thick memory foam pillow, and it was as if the pillows weren't there. So how do I continue to strengthen my fingers for penetration?
There's lots of ways. The first one of the easiest ways, get a pillow and just start striking. And as you do and get comfortable, go deeper into it. Then you can start getting rice and put it into a bowl and just not big bowl, not a little bowl.
Yeah, or a bucket, you know.
Yeah, a bucket. Yeah, that's a better word. And just drive through. And then one of the techniques is as you drive, let your fingers relax. Don't stay stiff upon impact. Let your fingers relax. And as you do, drive your fingers behind that with your arm. And you want to learn to do that because you can't keep your fingers locked. Because if you do that, you're going to get a direct jam. You want your fingers slightly back and then accelerate just before that. And so it gives you energy. So the energy doesn't want to come back into your fingers. It wants to penetrate the point which you hit.
There you go. So this, I don't know if you're even aware of this style. So Somik says, I know I'm joining your live session late. Don't worry about it because you can ask questions whenever. It's all good. They said, can you give me some history lessons on how much Kalarapayat, I don't know if I said that right. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. How does it differ from the Chinese martial arts?
Can't answer that because I don't know what that style is.
Yeah. So I just pulled it up and basically, you know, it's a Southern India style is what it is. So, but
I don't know it, so I can't compare it.
Can't compare it.
And anyways, Chinese martial arts varies in many, many different styles. That's one of the things that, you know, karate is standard. It's kind of basic. It has the same principles. Kung Fu changes in styles. You got your external, you got your internal, you got your in between. You've got styles that focus on kicks, styles that focus on hands, styles that focus on both, styles that works on locks, styles that works on throws, styles. So there's tons of different styles. But, you know, in the end, like I said, all of them have one principle. It's energy.
Right. So if the energy is good, guess what? That system's good too.
Yes.
All good. But yeah, it looks like, you know, a lot of it, it's said to be one of the oldest surviving fighting systems still in existence in the world, and is originally practiced in northern and central parts of India. So very cool, very cool. But yeah, if the energy is good, like if you study our Nodak Knob principles and you see that the energy is good, then it is all good. And if not, you can take whatever you're learning and apply those principles and make it better. So Karthik says, Sifu, can you show the right procedure for doing white crane pecking, and how should we position the fingers for it?
There's different styles that will tell you differently. You've got ones where your 4 fingers are together and your thumbs like this. So you take your fingers, as you can see here, and your thumbs here, so you can see like this. So there are crane styles like this. I can hold that. That's not the crane I learned. I learned the crane where I just actually relax my 4 fingers on the side, and my fingers actually concentrate on between the first 2 and even the third. And the 4th one's just curved in. So I like this. It's more comfortable for me. It's other styles, you know, conditioned to get used to this. So they get used to putting their hands like this. I like this. It's more relaxed for me. And it's comfortable for me. So that's the way I do it. In terms of striking, strong fingertips. Again, wrist is the key. For us, the way we do it, our hands like this, when we strike, we like snake, we get the point to come out just at the timing with the wrist too. And we use both points, the wrist to accelerate and the fingers to accelerate. So we do both to do that. So that's it. That's the main thing that I know about some styles of crane like this and this in terms of the hand position. You know, we go from like, for me, it's very comfortable this position like this because I can open up a wing like this. I can hook it up to the crane, the beak set up, and you can see how I'm on the sides here. So my fingers can come out and use that small point beak, or I can use 2. Depending on the angle which I turn. If I'm going for the body, it'll go more from the bottom too because of the curve underneath. But I'm going more from the top accelerates more and is stronger. My thumb is supporting to that finger here, and it also supports there, and the other one rests on there. So you can see I have my 3 points, and depending on how I turn, my beak can hit from different angles because of the way the fingers are shaped. Okay, so that's how we do our crane. Again, 3-proof is the way we want to keep everything. You know, we keep everything here. So everything comes from the pivoting. So if I'm going to move, it comes from like I rotate the wrist, keep a good base. Because without the base, the wrist loses its power. So we got to make sure we have a strong base. And remember, base isn't about putting your elbows down. It's maintaining that strong position wherever the elbow is.
Awesome. Thank you, Sifu. So Neo1 says, do you have a student grade system in your system?
In the end, yes, we're working on that on the line right now, trying to get people.
But it's not a belt system. This is for just people that want to become certified to become teachers. So we don't have actually someone asked me the other day, like, so what belt are you? I'm like, none. Nada. It doesn't exist.
I'm elastic.
Right. So yeah, we don't have a traditional belt system, mainly because, well, I don't even want to call it traditional because that's more of a newer thing. It's not really a tradition. That's more like of a business model. So we don't do that, but we do have a system that allows you, if you do want to become a teacher for what we do, to become certified. And there's different levels in that, because obviously it would take you forever to be able to teach everything. So we have different levels, and in each level, you'll be able to apply different principles that we teach to what you do and be able to teach it to someone else. So we do have that. Hopefully that answers your question. Ghost Wind says, can you talk about the basic breathing for Wing Chun and Nigong, as I do not want to hyperventilate? Well, we don't want that either.
The basic breathing is controlling it in your movement. So you want, like, especially in combat, small bursts, never long, hard, like karate, they put a lot of pressure. We do small bursts. To give you a best example is, like, just think of this as your breath. If this is your exhale point and this is your inhale point, when you're hitting, it's so it's so I don't it's small bursts, small breaths to explode. You only need a little bit of pressure just to create that. So that way, in one breath, you can do, like, let's just say make them 10 explosion points rather than that's where you hyperventilate. Hyperventilating is gathering more energy in your body than your body can absorb. So you hyperventilate because of that. So, you want small bursts, small control bursts that'll help you. And when you get to the end, you never want to breathe out to the point where you can't, you have no more air. You always want reserved air. You want to just to the point of relaxation, and then inhale. So, just, so that's that kind of breathing that you want. Natural breathing, but when you explode, small bursts. And when you get to that point where you get that reserve, never, because there's a point where you exhale naturally, but you can force more air out. And that's what you don't want. You don't want to get to the point where you're forcing more air out than your natural state. You want to be in that natural state of exhale, and then you want to inhale from that. And then you small burst, small burst, small burst, small burst. Hope that answers.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we have another question here from Kevin. He says, I was watching the course on crescent kicks and I did not understand how this can be applied in a combat situation. Is the kick used for transitioning into other kicks, or does it stand alone? It seems like a risky strike for a practitioner to be used against the opponents.
Any kick to the head is risky.
Okay? Yeah.
Any kick to
the head. We talked about this a lot, actually.
You're standing on one leg. Your groin's exposed, your knees exposed, your ankles exposed. So it is, any high kick is a risk because of that. And in like Wing Chun principles, I'm not saying this is how we believe, but this is the Wing Chun belief. It's like, why should I kick you from my foot to your head when my hand's right there to hit you? My answer is that because of the range. Kicking has safety in the ranges, but if a guy cuts the angle and closes in.
Right.
Remember, every move has a positive and negative aspect to it. Every single move has a positive and a negative aspect. The idea is make the positive work for you the best, and the negative is the hardest for him to reach. That's the idea. There's a time and a place for kicks. And I'm not saying, hey, crescent kicks are bad. They have its place. The question is when you apply it. It's like a shotgun and a sniper gun. Both are very, very good, but I wouldn't use a shotgun at a mile away. I wouldn't want to use a sniper gun going in close urban combat where I have to go to rooms. Like, it's too long of a gun to, So everything has its place, it has time, depending on the situation. And crescent kicks does have value. For example, a guy has a knife in the hand, it's just a knife, and they're sticking it out like they're threatening. Crescent kick is good because it keeps you. It keeps you good, and it has the value to keep you safe at the distance. So you're not trying to kick their face. Let's say you can kick their hands with a crescent kick,
Whereas if you're trying to, from far away, you go throw yourself in telegraph
That
and
would
they try to do a high, they might be able to see that and then kick you in the groin. Like that's not a good trail. But it's good. Guy has a knife, they're sticking it out, kick the hand. You're not going for the face, so you're not getting in closer range that they can sidestep and kick your knee out or kick your groin or your ankle. You're kicking their hand, so you're playing a safer distance and you're able to strike the weapon that's out. So, everything has its place, has its value.
Are there any other scenarios that you can think of that
if I can kick that, for example, if I kick your knee, make you bend over, I can give a crescent kick right afterwards.
Right.
So
that would make sense.
Everything
Right in the face.
Everything has a place in the value, but it's just knowing the time of it and the need of it in that situation. Best example, like I said, shotgun sniper. I wouldn't get shot by either.
Right.
At close quarter, I want to get by a shotgun. Far away, I definitely don't want to get shot by a sniper. But if someone had a shotgun from a mile away, I'm like, yeah, so whatever. I'll just go out and keep guarding it. I don't worry about this guy. He's not going to hurt me with a shotgun a mile away. Everything has its place, has its value, and it's up to your training, your experience to know the difference and when you need to do it.
There you go. So don't get stuck in, oh my God, how or when I'll use this. What I find is, and I know a lot of Sifu students have found, is that when you get put in a situation where you need to use your martial arts, your body just knows what it needs to do and when it needs to do.
If you train by feel, you will do it. If you train by trying to memorize fighting, you're going to freeze.
Right, because then you're always thinking.
If he throws me a straight punch, I'll do this. If he throws a hook punch, I'll do this. I always like to say, if you think you stink.
Yep.
You got to feel the deal and make them squeal.
There you go.
So.
Peter says, do you have people in Kenya that train in Kung Fu? It is definitely possible. I know we have members around the world. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to, because their billing and all that information is encoded, so we're not able to see that. But Peter, I don't know if you are already a current member, but if you are, you might want to become part of our chat, which you can go to entershaolin.com/chat and request a way to be a part of that if you want. And we do have, not everyone's on there, but we do have over 100 members out of the 400 that we have that are on there. And maybe some of them are from there. And if we could get everyone online, we might be able to find more training partners. But I do know we have people in Africa. I just don't know about Kenya specifically. So sorry about that, Peter. But hey, if not, you can join, Peter, and then you can invite your friends. And then boom, you got training partners in Kenya. Good idea. All right. So Larry sent over from Zeno951. Is it too late for a 35-year-old to start Wing Chun? No, I'm 36 and I just started 3.5 years ago. We have members that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s that just got started. It's never too late. And by the way, you're not even old. Why are you talking like you're dead? Come on. It's not too late. Go to entershaolin.com/join and come on.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
I'll tell you how it feels when I'm 35 in 10 years.
He's really 46. All right. I don't know. I have that where numbers should not be coming through. So sorry about that, Facebook people. I have it on where numbers should not be coming through. I have it on silent and as well as do not disturb, but it just disturbed us. So I apologize for that. Gojira Hanma says, they say it's better to practice one move 1,000 times than 1,000 different moves once. What would be the result if someone actually did that?
A natural response. You'll do it instinctively. Muscle memory. That's the whole point of doing everything repeatedly, to do it without thought and do it properly. That's the idea. You want to do it properly. 1,000 times, one move without that focus, without that technique behind it, it's just a waste of time. So you got to make sure that you're training the right technique. That's why, like in kendo, they do one move, they do like this, and they go up, down, and they do just that move all day. They'll do it like 1,000 times because they're trying to get that to be very natural without thought and getting the power behind that without effort. So that's why you want to do it. That's why you train. You train for muscle memory. Fighting isn't about memorizing movements. It's about developing the right instinct and to do it naturally. Like we talked about last week, what makes a student, a master, a master? It's not just the knowledge. It's not that. It's that the master,
that precision.
Let's say the student trained with him for 10 years. Why is it, if the guy is a master, if he's still better, why is he better? It's not because he knows more. It's because he's able to do it more proficiently at a higher pressure, at a higher speed. That's what makes him the master, that he can do it much faster.
And with less movement.
And better. So that's what makes someone really, really good. So the thing is you're training the muscle memory to do this instinctively, to naturally move without feel. Like dancing, you ever hear music and you just kind of sway and you don't realize it? You just feel, wow, I like that beat. And you just find that your body wants to move to that beat. It's natural. It's instinctive for you to do that. And the training is the same. We want to move instinctively. I've trained so much that I can sleep and I can just like, I feel my body doing this. Like, I'm like, oh, I just, from the training, it's in me. You ever watch a movie for hours and hours, like whatever, and you go to sleep, you dream about it, and your body moves around. That's the same thing. You train enough, your body moves that way. It's a part of it. It's part of your soul. Remember, training isn't something you do. It's something you live. It's a part of you. It's not something that you do from time to time. It's something you do every day. Whether you pick up your keys, you're driving, Kung Fu is all the time. Proof always exists. Proper posture, finding the route. That's in everything that you do. You're walking, talking to people, learn how to be calm and control your emotions. That's all Kung Fu. Remember, the word Kung Fu isn't martial arts. It means accomplished efforts.
Yes.
So that's what Kung Fu is.
Right on. So one more question before we're going to wrap up for today. Karthik says, do we have sounds related to Qigong breathing, sounds that allow that focus of the Dantian, crown, third eye, and so on?
Yeah. Well, anyways, you can make sounds. Sounds can help you get you better focus, but it would be like a low, slow breathing type of sound, not like it would never be high pitched. It requires too much energy. It requires too much stress in the body.
Can you do that again?
Like it has to be like low. Oh, that's why you hear a lot of people magic. Oh, it should be low and slow because the higher the pitch, the more energy it takes, and the higher the frequency. That's why if you ever want to talk fast, as you talk fast, you never hear someone go. It can't, because the frequency being bass is a lot longer than a high frequency. A high frequency is like this. So that's why you can't really talk fast without increasing that pitch. This is the way it is. So when you make sounds, it should be low,
really low, slow,
to help maintain that breathing and help maintain the control behind what you're doing.
It's kind of, if you imagine, like, I don't know if you've ever heard like the pressure coming out of a tire, the air pressure coming out, but like way softer and slower, kind of like that a little bit, but it's kind of like that. It's that same pressure inside of you there. That's the best way I can describe it.
Like that.
Sort of like that. Yeah, there you go. So hopefully that helps. Nanko says Om is the sound of the universe. Yeah, a lot of people do the Om during meditation and stuff like that too. I don't know if you would really do that with your Qigong. You can try it out. Let me know how it feels. But the slow in and out breathing, you just feel it like through your whole body, all your pores and stuff. And it does make that like very slight, like almost hissing sound. Or like that, almost like a yawn. Karthik says, I will ask you to make the loud sound when we meet for the seminar. That one that you did. Maybe. You give him $100. No, I'm kidding. You can just replay this as much as you need to, Karthik, because it's pretty funny. So thank you everyone for joining us for this installment of our webinar. Thank you for being a part of it, whether you're on Facebook, all that good stuff, YouTube. If you are on Facebook and YouTube, make sure to like it, give it some love, share it, because by sharing it, you're able to A, let other people know what you're interested in, which means you might get some training partners, and B, you will help Enter Shaolin grow. So we thank you so much for helping us grow. And if you want, join us at entershaolin.com/join to get way more amazing training than what we're sharing with you here.
And if you have any questions,
yes,
you can write to us at support@entershaolin.com.
Yep. And if you want to come to one of our seminars, go check out entershaolin.com/seminar. And it's not just for members. Anyone can come to these. So, but if you come, you're probably going to want to become a member after that. I should warn you in advance. It happens. But thank you everyone for being part of it. Pam says, good webinar. Thank you so much, Pam. It's good to see you on here. And we'll see you guys next week on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not sure when we're on, you can go to entershaolin.com/webinar. And that way you'll get,
I'm forgetting which one's what.
Just go to entershaolin.com. Everything is there, people. Just look under the menus. You'll find whatever you need. Scheduling, everything. It's all there. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Have fun.